Lads, we're live. Apologies about the delay. We had a few technical issues.
It's his fault. Take responsibility.
No.
As usual.
No. Boys, what's going on?
Is that all the questions already?
That's them just waiting on you boys.
Lively bunch, okay. Yeah.
Waiting on you boys.
Interesting.
How the Devil Army? This is a hell of a crew.
This is a crew.
This is very rare.
Throwing it back a couple of years at least.
Yep.
I travel a lot. Not even remotely as much as you two boys.
I travel
There's a lot of air miles in this shot right now.
And I don't travel as even remote. I told him on the phone today.
Yeah.
Like he's a gypsy.
Yeah.
I feel like a bit of a gypsy.
You're a golf
last little
gypsy.
while, yeah.
You are.
I don't
But
really have
you're
a
not
home
going
base.
from like Toronto to New York. You're going like Toronto to like Kyrgyzstan.
Big golf country.
Just everywhere.
Where is the like wildest golf place you've been to so far?
Pakistan.
Pakistan.
100%.
Yeah.
But like, who goes?
I went on a private jet with Nick Faldo, Charlie Hall, Graham McDowell, and
From
Rafa Cabrera
Dubai?
from
Yeah.
Dubai for a grand opening of a Nick Faldo golf course. Still look back at that like, how can golf bring you to a country like Pakistan? It was wild. We had like a military convoy to get to the golf course. It was wild.
And what was the conversation like on that private jet? Do you have a couple of whiskey sours in there?
I sat with Charlie Hall in the back, just
She's a-
talking life.
She's a unit, man.
She's great.
Yeah.
I love Charlie. Charlie's awesome. Yeah, it was just us in the back and they're like physiotherapists or something. But yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Small Ryder Cup team on that jet, which segues us nice into what happened this weekend.
Well,
See how I did?
talk to me, boys, because obviously people know my thoughts on the whole thing. As the sole American on the live today, Wonder, how do you feel?
I gotta say this: being on tour now for 3 years, on tour, working on tour, not playing on tour, obviously. You get close to a lot of these guys,
Yeah.
so I
That's
had
true.
personal relationships with, you got Nico Hogarth and John Rahm, and I also am really good friends with Jack Clark, who is Ludwig Aberg's caddy. And there's a few players on that team that I know, and you kind of start rooting for players. But I will say this: I knew that the European team was going to be really salty because that team was way more stacked than anybody gave them credit for.
Yeah.
And I've said this for a long time, even before I even got out on tour. There's something about the European vibes. You can even see it in the tour trucks in Europe.
It's different, isn't it?
It's a different vibe. There is a community, a culture, a brotherhood that we may have a semblance of a little bit in the States, but it's not the same thing.
Yeah,
It's just not the same thing.
No, I've done a bunch of those DP World Tour events the last year. I think I've done like 10 events in the last 12 months, and the guys out there just seem so much closer. They seem so much more, I don't know, it's just like, it's a very different feel than a PGA Tour event.
Yeah.
In the sense that like guys do things together. You go out, I was in Belgium for the Belgium Open last year, and like all the guys out for dinner together. Like I went to a restaurant and there's literally 10 or DP World Tour guys all having dinner together. So it's more of like a brotherhood almost.
It really is, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Well, people will say like, you see a lot of things. I think Kyle Porter from CBS had a commentary on the closeness of the European Tour versus USA, and he brought up a good point. It was like, yes, you have to hit the shots under pressure when you're on the road, but being a tight unit and having the culture right and working in a circle as opposed to a Rubik's Cube or like some other weird shape does matter sometimes more than the golf shots you hit. And I think they just excel at getting along and working in harmony together. And you could pick apart Zach Johnson and what he did. I think he was in a helpless situation, to be honest with you. I think it was a combination of culture. They just got their faces kicked in the first day. I don't think it would have mattered if that would have been in the States or here. The pairings you can say or whatever, but I think as time went on, that was going to be really hard nut to crack. Once that crew of Europeans got some momentum, it's going to be very hard to beat.
Yeah, I think for me, one of the biggest takeaways was the Ryder Cup living on beyond the clearly significant losses to live. This was obviously the first Ryder Cup without Sergio, Westwood, Casey,
DJ.
It's DJ, Phil, Poulter, obviously. Like there was like 6 or 7 names who are just gone.
Right.
And this was like obviously the first one of the new edition. And I was really, really interested. Like, what would the Ryder Cup look like without these guys? Like, is it going to be so one-sided like Whistling Straits was? Are we just going to get absolutely whooped? Because we've got Højgaard and Ludwig Aberg, and you've got Højgaard, like all these guys, it's like, no, these boys are in it for the long haul. The 2 youngest Ryder Cup teams, average age 30.
Yeah, it's wild.
Insane.
Well, there's something to be said for that, though. Like, if I look at the USA team, and I said this to a couple of my friends, like, and it's all due respect to they're all world-class players, but there's no, it's like a team full of Scottie Pippins without a Michael Jordan. There's not that alpha. And you can make an argument for Brooks Koepka, but there's not that alpha male, that leader, that older guy that's been through the war before where, you could call that Rory on the European team. You could even make an argument for Shane Lowry. Something that's a little bit further on in life, that's played in a bunch of these things. The U.S. team really didn't have that. And that's why I was making an argument to get DJ on there.
Right.
Or Lucas Glover. Granted, he hasn't played in a ton of Ryder Cups, but he's an older guy. Like, sometimes it's not just Ryder Cup experience; it's life experience,
sure,
and perspective. And I just think it got exposed. And I'm a big advocate. Like, the live separation. I don't know why that affects the Ryder Cup. It's got nothing. You're playing for your country. It's got no. You get the 12 best golfers from your country and let them play. And I thought that got politicized, and I think it was a mistake.
The only people that make that personal are the tours themselves.
Correct.
Because they feel like they're not getting the support from the players, and they ultimately will then dictate who can qualify for their team, etc. So there was just the tour. That,
well, it's a punishment. Like, it's a punishment in sport, and for guys that just chose to. And you can think what you want about live, but I think DJ should have been on that team. An argument could have been made for Bryson DeChambeau. Like,
I think the Bryson argument is definitely a valid one, on form, et cetera. So there's so many things. It just seems like, I don't know if it's something they overlook. The Europeans seem to overlook nothing when it comes to it, like nothing. Like, they seem to be going into every single detail that they possibly can, whether it's pairing the guys all together at Wentworth, right? They all play together. The US guys had that 5-week competitive layoff.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many things that were going against them in that first morning or the first day. Like, they were not sharp. There's no doubt about it. If you watch those drives off the first tee, how few of those American drives hit the fairway on that first day. Right. It was shocking how few times they hit the fairway, whereas the European boys were just standing up almost to a man and striping it. Momentum is everything in the Ryder Cup, and they just, every time it was like blue.
It also sort of feels like it's almost like corporate culture in the state where you're afraid to make a mistake as opposed to playing fearlessly and with trust to play your best. I feel like European always has a knack of just getting in there and not worrying about making a mistake, but trying to play their best golf. Or the U.S. teams in the past and even this year feel like they're holding it, like, I guess I got to play good, like I have to play good or else. And it's like there's that level of abandonment that I think the Europeans have, and maybe it's a level of expectation, could be ego, I have no idea, but they seem to play freer in these events. But I'm a armchair quarterback, so I think who the hell?
They all seem to speak pretty highly of Luke Donald as well. It's cool because Luke Donald just seemed like just a quiet. He's humble. He's not doesn't take the spotlight. It's kind of about the players, and he just, everything that came out of his mouth seemed pretty on point and not about him, and more about just building a solid team of golfers that all get along and enjoy each other's company and hang out, and it just seemed like they were having fun.
Well, you see what he did also with his vice captains, and this is a part of the thing the U.S. does. It seems to be the same vice captains. It's Stricker and Furyk, and Stuart Sink was a new guy, but Freddie's there, and it's like, I'm not so sure that works anymore. European had Nico Kostarts, they had the Molinari brothers, they had guys that were all friends and close competitors of all those players on the European team, and
not to mention they're all still playing a lot. Holtzart's still out there banging it around.
There's something to that as well. It's just a vibe thing. So, I think the better team won, and I think they were better prepared. Unfortunately, now we're going to go back into U.S. golf, where everybody's going to try to pick the crap out of each other and figure out what's going to work and what's not. And
the other part is as well, I think the golf course was built for the Ryder Cup. And they've played the Italian Open there every single year. How could someone with some foresight from the US team not send everyone who, if you want to qualify for this US Ryder Cup team, you have to play the Italian Open in 21, 22, and 23.
Was it because this year that I heard that there was a, what's it called, the event? events that are like more money. In
The
PGA
Rolex?
An elevated event.
Yeah, it was the same week as an elevated event in the PGA Tour.
Like that's the difference.
yeah,
For me,
so the PGA Tour makes
like-
an event
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
Ryder Cup year on the same week as an event that's
Yeah.
they should be sending people over to play that golf course.
But it's also supposed to be the PGA Tour, that deal that they had, or whatever, the semblance of a deal that they had with the DP World Tour. It's supposed to be in harmony with the DP World Tour. Like that's a situation where it's like, okay, we want the Ryder Cup to be a great event, so like
Yeah.
let's make sure our PGA Tour guys can get over there to support that event because they're playing that golf course.
Yeah, I love that golf course. I've never seen so many 2s on par 4s.
That's
I
so
think
awesome.
there was there 3 drivable par 4s. I think there was
Like
2 or
13s.
3 drivable, or like par 5s you get to in
Yeah.
2. So like the eagle count was insane.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
It was nuts. So
Who would-
yeah, it was cool.
Who would be your US MVP and Europe MVP? I'm curious to see what you guys think.
Homa
Yeah, for
on
sure.
the US side for sure, and I know he had the biggest points tally, but I wouldn't have said Rory. I think he actually got quite lucky in the afternoon on Friday. He played with Fitzy,
Yeah.
who just went
played out of
bananas.
his mind, yeah.
I think Hovland was
Yeah.
the MVP in the European team. I just think everybody just feels like he's the hottest player in the world right now, and anyone who came up against, like him and Elberg didn't play unbelievably well against Scheffler and Koepka on the Saturday morning. They played solid and they had a bunch of birdies, but it was the level of golf, how bad it was
Yeah.
from the US team that made that score line what it was.
That was hard to watch.
Yeah.
That first match, those guys was hard to watch. What about you, Mac?
I think
what do you think?
I think Justin Rose made some like big putts that
Yeah,
like that's
a really good
to not
point.
get swept.
It's a
The
great
second
point.
or when he had Bobby
Yeah.
Mack,
Bobby
who
Mack, yeah.
he kind of those two to put Bobby back kind of under your wing a little
Yeah.
bit, and then getting that 1 point that they kind of saved them from being swept on
Massive.
Saturday
This
afternoon was
was
huge.
so
So just in
massive.
terms of momentum, he made some
Yeah.
big putts that like kept them going. And I think a guy like Justin Rose, he kind of fell off the map a couple
Yeah,
years
I
ago
know.
there, and now he's like back making a
revived.
good performance at a Ryder Cup at 40
point.
whatever years old he is. So
Well, you made the point like about life experience,
Mm-hmm.
right? Rosie's the oldest player in the tournament by a
3 or
lot.
4 years,
Yeah,
yeah,
he was
at
the
least.
oldest by a lot, and there's some serious grey. I saw that. There was some grey hairs under the hat, and but there's nothing like his wife said it in the afterwards. It's like he was struggling a little bit in the parts of the course where there was less crowds.
Yeah.
When he got into the parts of the course where the crowds were massive and noisy, like the putts he
leveled
holed
up, yeah.
was just, it was insane. And obviously for McIntyre, those are the times where he's going to probably feel less comfortable. So for him to step up and be that
cool.
guy, it was awesome.
I thought it was fun also. Like if I was going to pick two, Homa for sure. Like I think
Yeah.
he brought the
Can't not
vibes.
pick him,
Yeah,
yeah.
but if I was going to go in a different direction, I would say Fleetwood. One, he putted better than I've ever seen Fleetwood putt in his
Yeah,
life.
he
which
putted
just- I
amazing,
was just
didn't
like, but there's something about everybody wants to play with Tommy. You and I talked about that
Yeah,
today. But he's
yeah.
also one of those guys when he's playing well, he has the ability to kind of get the vibe up for everybody else.
Yeah.
Like people get excited if he okay, Tommy's playing well. Like let's go. Like
fans love him.
They love him. And he's
hard not to.
He's got so much charisma. So like he would be my pick for I guess funnest to watch this week.
Who did you like in the US team?
Homa.
Hold on.
Yeah. I mean he seemed to me the one that just kind of kept his SHIT together the whole time.
Yeah.
He never really buckled. I was really proud of how Sam played in the morning matches on Saturday. I think
Yeah.
that was. But other than that, it was like. The singles is the singles, but like during the the foursomes and four balls, like watching the Americans is just like God,
Yeah.
like wow, it's bad.
Yep. No, it was awesome. All right, will we dive into some questions? Mac Boucher, the legend.
Far from.
He is a legend.
Jamie LaRoque.
He is a legend. Who's going to be the captain in Bethpage?
My pick's going to be controversial.
Is this who you want or who you
This
think
is
it
who
should
I
be?
this is who I
He's
think
going
it should
Phil.
be. Phil, 100%. I think, like, love him or hate him, Phil knows how to win, and he's a dog, man. Like, and he is wired for this stuff. He's just wired for it, and I've gotten to
think-
know him pretty well. Like, he's just wired for chaos.
By the time that goes around too, like I feel like more of the dust will be settled, and obviously you saw that picture that Brooks Koepka
That was
posted
awesome, by
yesterday,
the way.
with just like
It's just
all of them wearing Smash t-shirts or whatever. Like It looks like a lot of them are kind of settling that toxic dust that was floating around for too long, and everyone's just getting on with it, which is how it should have been a long time ago, in my opinion. But
people want Tiger to be the captain next. I think it gets political when certain people get in there. It depends on who they are, and I think you need to go way off the reservation and get somebody like Phil in there and just get the hell out of his way and let him do his thing. And I think you'll be surprised, and let him do it for two straight. They go home and away, and I think people will be pleased with what they get. And it'd be fun to watch.
I think they'll give Bethpage to someone as a bit of a, I'll be honest, like a bit of a gift, because I think if there's going to be it would be the most partisan Ryder Cup since Kiowa. Right. Yeah. It really is. So call, I think they're going to give it as a gift to someone, and if they're going to give someone a gift, I don't think it's going to be Phil.
No. They're gonna be Tiger. Tiger will be it because he wanted Bethpage.
Exactly.
It'll be Tiger.
Yeah.
Which it's Tiger. He's obviously amazing, but it's just not as. I don't know. People like that. He's never lost the President's Cup, so it's he's undefeated in these scenarios. But I think Phil would be a funner thing to watch.
Who is on the European side? Who do you think they give it to? Because again, back to the live thing, whether the tour supports, like we've lost a generation of captains.
Yeah, Graham McDowell would have been a great captain.
G-Mac would have been. Sergio, Westwood,
Poulter.
Who's the
Stenson would be another one.
Stenson would have been this one.
Yeah.
This was Stenson's one that Luke got.
See how much, but it's so ridiculous. So like generations of good Ryder Cup, or like at least a decade of Ryder Cup captains are gone because they didn't like where they went to go play. It's for me, one thing has nothing to do with the other.
I think by 2025, it's all going to be forgotten almost.
Water under the bridge,
and I think they're going to.
That'd be great.
That's just my personal opinion on it, but who knows what will happen.
Richardson, I think Luke Donald was a bit of a lettuce. But some Spanish.
Well, somebody agrees with me on the lefty thing. Way to go.
Yeah, Graham's rating everything.
What do we think on the LaCava situation? Let's talk about the
LaCava.
Let's get into that rabbit hole for a minute.
Somebody called him the GOAT earlier and I saw LaCava's the GOAT. What was that?
I just think it was like, again, I wouldn't care because it's just some guy that's like obviously caught up in the moment, but he was there a little too long maybe.
But where's Joey from?
It's New Jersey.
He's a Jersey boy. He's a New Yorker. There's going to be 50,000 LaCavas.
Right, and I think for him, 100%. He's literally the most everyone loves Joe.
Loves him.
And so the fact that he did it the one time should have just been like forgotten real quick, and everyone should have just got over it. Everyone was too soft about it. He was there for too long, but because it's not like he's a repeat offender. He's like the most everyone likes him. Like there's not a single person on the tour that ever has something bad to say about him. So he was just caught up in the moment. It happened, and it should have just been forgotten. But unfortunately, it was, I think, blown out of proportion a little bit.
It was blown out of proportion.
No one likes to see their team getting their asses kicked.
And he's the kind of guy where he had to be spurred on. Like, he was in the red by the time he got to the 18th green. He was over it. Because he doesn't. When's the last time you ever heard Joey LaCava stepping out of line and doing something like that? No. So you got to give him the benefit of the doubt. And I think Rory, God bless him, but could have let that go theoretically. I mean, could have just.
I don't think so. I actually think I loved it from both sides. I loved that Rory told him get.
I'm talking about the parking lot and the. And
I love that as well, because that means it's real.
Yeah, that's true.
At that point, that means it's real. Like if you're not willing to get into a scrap with someone, to be honest, you shouldn't be there.
Do you think he would have fought?
I hope so.
It was kind of funny though. They asked him. They go, "What are you yelling at Bones for?" He's like, "He was the first American I saw when I walked out of the clubhouse. He just happened to be standing there." And I was like, "Poor Bones, guys."
Love that. I love that they were willing to literally fight.
Leave it to the Irishman.
Yeah, exactly.
Shane Lowry getting
Shane,
involved.
yeah. It was good. It was good. Okay, let's see. What else is going on in the world? Mac Boucher. This is one for you. Can a golf shaft change your shot shape? So when you change shafts, and obviously you're someone who loves to shape it, does it make it harder with certain shafts than others?
Yeah, I would say like just different kick points can obviously dictate how much, but I mean, you can still curve it with anything. You can give me a 2x4, and as long as my path is 15 out to in and keep the face open, like I'm still going to curve it. So I think it's just how much you curve it, I think is the big thing. some people might argue that a little bit more than others, but I would say for the most part, yes, it makes a difference. It's not the only difference, though, I guess.
I guess it would depend on. It also would dictate where on the face you hit it.
Totally.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, for me, like if I mishit the middle of the face, a lot of time I'll just make an adjustment immediately in the next swing to find the middle of the face. So I think it's very depending on the golfer as well.
Agreed. Lots of Ryder Cup chat. I could like debrief on the Ryder Cup for a week afterwards.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, and I was, I don't know who, I think I was telling Cody earlier, I'd never made it to my bed for 3 days. Day one, I was in Utah and I started watching it at I started watching it at 11:30 at night.
Okay. Yeah, that's about right.
Local time. And I slept on the sofa for 2 hours and then got back up to watch the first morning's matches ending. Then I was flying, so I watched the rest in the airport. Then I got home, didn't go to bed that night. I literally got up at 2 a.m. Just grinding through it. And then I got a little sleep again on the sofa, and Saturday into Sunday to get up at 5 to watch the singles tee off. That's dedication.
It's European.
I just got up, or I was up at like especially Sunday. Sunday's coverage started at 5:30, so I was up at 5:30, just in it.
And this was the point at which Tommy hold the putt straight in the pool.
Funny. It must have been warm.
It was freezing. It was absolutely freezing.
Huh.
What else do you see? There's a lot of Ryder Cup chat.
There's a lot.
Lots of support for LaCava.
There is actually.
I like it. I like it.
It's like typical social media
Whether
stuff.
you agree with it or you disagree with it,
It is what
we
it
need
is.
things to talk about. I thought it was good.
Brian LaRoche.
Here's the.
Am I the only
Brian
one in
guy.
the world who can say
They play with these three
all
gents.
3 gents?
I played
Yeah,
Brian
in Myrtle Beach.
last week in Myrtle Beach. Yep. We did I was down there for a little team competition. That was a fun round. Brian's a stick. He hits it.
Yeah,
He hits it hard.
He hits it hard.
He's a unit.
Good golfer, better guy. J-Dub, will we be seeing a Jailbird O-Works soon?
A Jailbird O works. The Jailbirds for now, we have something new coming out here pretty soon, so most of the focus is going to go on that. I think they're going to continue to do like smaller batch Jailbird launches. Obviously, they dedicated enough to the program to make a head that had the right weighting in the bottom. I think they'll periodically drop them. I don't ever think it's going to be like a part of the line that's just there. I think they're going to keep it limited and. But yeah, I don't. They're pretty popular. They sell out every single time we launch them, so like quickly.
Kyle, I was at Utah Valley University. I was at the test lab for super speed golf. We were doing some cool content that you guys will be seeing in the for the off season, trying to help you guys get a little bit quicker, trying to help this old dude get a little bit quicker. This old dude wants to get a little bit quicker.
I want to get quick. I want to be faster.
Yeah.
I feel like I put on.
You're capable.
I put on like 10 or 11 pounds of muscle and I got slower.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, like
It's a shit show.
you
I
should
can't say that.
see. Yeah, you can say that.
No.
Oh, yeah, you can.
I'm a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can definitely see that. But yeah, this Qualisys system, we were using this thing called Sensor's Edge, which basically tells you about kind of right and left hand dominance. It tells you about hand torque, rotation. At what point is your sort of grip at its most sort of highest tension? Dude, it was why we were on force plates, so we could see at what times you're obviously pushing using the ground. Are you not using the ground?
See, I want to know.
Using
That's what I want to know. Like where in the sequence am I wrong?
That's
and,
it. Dude, you've got 50 miles an hour ball speed in you.
Oh, 100%.
50.
What are you
Yeah,
hovering
sure.
at now?
mid 150s. If I smoke with 160.
60.
Yeah.
You're a 170 waiting to happen. 175 waiting to happen.
I want to be. I want to roll out of bed and 175.
Yeah.
Take it to the tour.
Like this guy.
I'm gonna go to live.
You're
Take our talent for
still
live.
at that point in your life where you're limber enough to literally do that. Like your first
Yeah.
few swings are fast swings.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I still haven't fought any injuries really, other than that one time that I was getting fit in here and blew my rib out.
That's right. You
had to pull my dead corpse off the road. That was a mess.
But
That was
he's
brutal.
wired for like if he's like he's a body full of levers.
But I was just saying, like, you gained muscle. Like, if I gained muscle, I would think I would get pretty slow. I think I rely so much just on athletic ability and flexibility.
You get the best hand. You might have the best hands in golf though too. Like that I feel like your hand. Because the first time I saw you hit balls in here, which was like 4 years ago, your hand speed.
Yeah, my hand speed's quick. My arm and hand speed.
Oh my god, this guy moves his hands fast.
Yeah.
And I've like done some stuff with some long driver guys, and they're like, you don't even like your speed is like not even using the proper way to gain speed.
Yeah.
Like a lot of your
No, it's
speed is just generated
you're
from just wailing at it and not actually
You're a good athlete. Like that all comes into play.
It does.
rely on that. A little too hard.
Tell them about the little banger video we did with all the tour issue stuff. I can't tell them exactly. We did a real fun video with Ian today. We brought a bunch of stuff, a bunch of serious goodies off the tour truck.
People are always wanting to know what's different about that stuff.
It's a very polarizing subject.
I used to go on eBay when I was like younger,
Yeah.
18, and
Yeah.
type in tour issue stuff and just look what was out there.
You know, the first thing I ever bought on eBay was a tour issue R7 Super Quad with a Diamond blue board. It was an S85.
I had one of those.
Oh god!
And you gotta wonder if Buddy just bought it from the local.
The long hosel one with a really long hosel. Remember that one? That's the one I had. It was unbelievable. I don't even know if it was right for me. It was cool.
Yeah, they were. Those super quads were insane.
Yeah.
I could never hit them. I was always a burner guy, and I always wanted to do. So we used to always talk about them as like there was a technical product which was always weights and at that time just weights. There was no hosel adjustability till R9, but I was always a burner
Like
guy.
the lower profile.
It was something about it. Like remember burner.
Remember Burner
Super
Tour?
fast.
Now the super fast
Super
tour,
fast,
the TP,
yeah.
the blackhead.
That was
that
the
was
one.
like the best. Besides M2, that could have been
R1.
the best.
You are like
You are one
R1
guy.
best driver of all time. I would put the R1 back in play.
I think
today.
M2
I
and
should have brought it today just to show.
I know.
super fast. The super fast blackhead that Elkington had it for a long time, and then the M2 I think were the two best drivers that Callaway ever made. Not Callaway, but Taylor made.
The M2 2016.
You know what Rose is
M2?
still using?
Yeah.
That was the same year that Jailbreak came out with the Epic.
So I messaged Mark Blackburn the other day about Rosie because like he was in the practice rounds he was using M2, and like last week it was reported he was using M3, and then I saw
He's all over the
he
map,
is
yeah.
all over.
What's
the
he
map.
using now?
Thankfully he put TSR in play.
Oh, really?
For the tournament.
Well, because he won with our driver,
Yeah.
and then 2 weeks later,
I heard he's a gear junkie though, isn't he? Like
he's just so Adrian Rietveld
insane.
does a lot with Rosie, and now he's got a bag that Ben Showman from Cobra does his irons, and he's got Aaron Dill doing his wedges, and he's got Keith and those guys doing his woods, and Adrian. I don't want to say he's a gear junkie. I think he's always searching for a feel or to try and hold on to a feel, and sometimes I think he does that through equipment.
Yeah.
So if he feels a certain way, if a swing feels a certain way, and the ball's not going where he thinks it should go, he'll match the equipment to the feel.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got some old fairway woods, M6, 3 and 5 wood. He's got his, as you said, his Cobras, his Vokies, his Axis 1 putter. He was, I think, statistically the best putter at the Ryder Cup. I think there was maybe one other person who was close. Let's see.
He still is fun to watch. If you ever see him out there hitting balls, like he's still rosy. He still hits it like a champion.
Yeah, he gained just a tick under 5 strokes on the greens, which is
pretty
insane.
awesome.
Next best was your boy, Sammy Burns.
Burns is up there putting, huh?
Yeah,
It's one of his strengths now,
4.4.
isn't it?
Well, he's always been a good putter.
He's this, yeah. His putting was statistically very good at the Ryder Cup.
Where's the big unit at? Where's Ron?
The big dog was on putting. He lost 1.52 strokes on the greens.
It's because he was chipping it in all the time.
He really was.
He had a new. What did he have in the bag this week? He had a new 4-iron, a new lob wedge, and a new putter.
So look at it right. Here's the top boys. Sorry guys, this isn't really riveting. We'll try and maybe share this, but like
No, we're nerding out.
tee to green, which is where it really matters, right?
Yeah.
McIlroy plus 8.42 strokes.
Yeah.
Hovland plus 10.4 tee to green.
Yeah, he's a stud.
Max Homa was obviously good, plus 4.84 tee to green.
Yeah.
Tyrrell Hatton was pretty good, 3.45.
He's a ball. Terrell Hatton's a baller.
Yeah, and he's tough.
Yeah.
John Ram, tee to green, 10.19 strokes gained tee to green.
He's hitting the ball nicely.
Fleetwood 7.15. Those were the standout tee to green guys. I mean, those are your top players in the Ryder Cup, and the tee to green.
But on
strokes gained.
on tour, that all tracks too. So you're talking about because Tyrrell Hatton. If you look at his movie, people say he hits it okay. He's actually one of the better ball strikers.
He's a
on tour.
baller.
Yeah.
He's very efficient.
He's funny as hell too.
No, he's wild. He's a wild man.
So funny.
Wild man. So yeah, I think some of that strokes gain stuff is. I just love seeing stuff like that after
Just
a tour,
money ball.
especially in a match play event.
Can Max score me a couple?
Heavier sliding weights for my Stealth 2 Plus.
I've never even touched the weights in my own club.
You would know.
Wait, the Stealth 2 is
It's got
weights?
weights.
I don't use this. That's a lie.
There's lots of places to get that stuff. If you go to a website called Billy Bob's Golf, I know that's
Is
that's
that
a real
for
thing.
real?
It's a real
Sounds
thing.
like fake news.
Billy Bob's.
Billy.
Yeah,
Bob's.
Billy Bob's.
Of course.
That's where you can get it.
There you go.
Do you ever get people in your DMs ask you like, I just ordered this driver and the face cracked on it. Is there anybody who can help me like through
Yeah,
TaylorMade?
people think I work for TaylorMade.
Like I don't work in
I'm like,
customer service.
I just hit their clubs and enjoy their golfing clubs. That's it. That's all I got for
I just
you.
piss people off all the time. That's what I get paid to do.
Anders thinks, Mac, that's a clean hat, bro.
Clean. Super clean. Nice.
Oh, I was going to say, I was trying to kind of figure it out there.
What's
Lefty
that
golf
logo on
gang
the side?
Oh, this
on that side.
What's that?
It's just my little like lefty.
Lefty golf.
Just think like the lefty golf world still is untapped. And
Is
I
that
think
your
now-
logo?
Yeah.
Get into it. The lefty
Funny,
golf
I didn't
guy.
see a lefty Mac Boucher package at my house. It's like a
It's 'cause
piece of
you're,
swag.
you're with me over on the other side of the ball.
But
Very
it's
true.
like untouched. Like they're
It is.
especially nowadays, I'm seeing that a lot of guys coming from basketball, football, soccer, whatever sports
They're all
are actually
lefties.
coming up lefty. So the world's slowly going that way, and I still think that there's a little bit of a not a miss in the golf industry, but I still think there is a bit of a mess in the golf industry.
do
Like,
so.
Are you going to try and? So you're encouraging people to become left-handed?
no,
or are
not
you
at all.
trying to-
But I think it's hard to find
Support-
equipment
to support the people who
No,
are.
I'm just making a community for
Okay.
lefties because I think it's still. I mean, the joke I get. I mean, it's not even a joke. It's like I read the comment. It's like, oh, you're standing on the wrong side of the ball. Like it's still just such like a common thing
No,
that people think that because you're a lefty. But if you go out nowadays, like especially in Canada, it's all lefties. But
Yeah.
it is happening more and more around the world that you're seeing more lefties. And I still think brands aren't maybe releasing. Like I get asked for lefty 7-wood
Constantly,
daily.
yeah,
It is
yeah.
a daily thing, and I don't understand why there isn't brands making an available lefty 7-wood. With 7-wood's kind of trending in the right direction. A lot of tour guys using them, and I think this would be a great time to make.
It's demo.
more
It's
lofty.
because they build clubs. The amount of clubs they build is all on like the skis are all based on demographics, right? So there's not a huge portion. So it's proportionate to the amount of left-handed golfers that are in.
Totally.
That's why. So
Yeah.
people. So I think there should be more aggressive custom programs for if somebody wanted a lefty club.
That's what I mean.
Maybe charge them an extra $10 or whatever just for the hit and giggle and.
But I'm not exaggerating. I'd probably get 10 DMs a day
Yeah.
asking where I got my lefty 7-wood from, and I'm like, if you were selling them, like they would sell a good amount. And I've had this conversation with TaylorMade, and they're going to start working on it because it is like something I think all brands need to, like you said, I think a custom option. It doesn't need to be on the shelf.
No, but
'Cause, like,
make it available if
just
somebody really
something-
wants it.
Yeah,
they
if
can
someone
get it,
wants it,
yeah.
I don't see why they have them available. Like
Yeah.
Bobby Mack can get one off the TaylorMade tour truck, but
Yeah.
why can't general public, if they want to pay a couple extra bucks and get one custom, they should be able to have access to it.
Yeah, look at Mac Boucher growing the game one lefty at a time.
One lefty at a time. I
tough.
think it's one of the reasons that you got to love a company like Ping.
Yeah, they
Who
make everything.
Everything they make righty, they
Yeah,
make
it's
lefty.
1-to-1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
I think it's most brands are starting to go that way. It looks
Yeah.
like a lot of brands are having that option, but it's just
But they also don't sell golf balls, so there's like it is like you have to look at a balance sheet too. It's like if you have to make a choice. You're either gonna try and get a stick in everybody's hands, you're gonna try and get golf balls and gloves and everything in people's. It's all stew.
It really is. It really is. McNeiller and Sons doing a club champion fitting study this Friday for high handicaps who haven't been fit. Very cool. Love that. Love to see research being done. It's one of the things I loved about being out in Utah at the lab with Tyler there. Like he's doing studies on things that's like that really are going to matter
Yeah.
for the next, call it club fitting 3.0. 1.0 was original, like let's get you fit lie boards. 2.0 is add in a launch monitor. Let's get you some kind of numbers. 3.0 is going to be a wild scene of data. It's going to have some AI stuff in it. It's going to be thinking outside the box. It's not going to be, it'll be like this, but it will be way different from the current procedure that it is right now.
Right.
And I think we're really on the verge of club fitting never honestly looking the same again. I truly believe
I think the amount of follow-up that happens, the after the fit process will get a lot tighter.
That's a big part of it.
I was like talking to people from Foresight and TrackMan and Arcos, and the ability
Those
to
are
track a
some of the
golfer
people
after they
who
leave
can-
the bay.
It's imperative that you can track the results,
Yeah.
and you don't just send people off on their way, and they kind of never come back to your ecosystem because A, you're trying to run a business and you want that, but B, if someone thinks they're in an infinite loop of support, then they will always feel sort of not obligated, but like they'll always feel compelled to go back to you.
Yeah, it's the same reason why people go to the same barber for the whole life.
Yeah.
It's because they just trust the process and
Yeah.
it worked and they felt supported.
Without a doubt. What else do we see, laddies?
Haircuts and golf fits, it's the same thing. Let's see here.
Brian enjoys watching left-handed golf. I can putt left-handed, but golf and left-handed is for the birds for me. Great to see Mac growing the game. Agreed, Brian. Brian? He popped up in your 300 and what you at? 305.
310.
Where'd you go?
Just keep
See, when I
going.
first met you, when we first met, we were like right over here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's one of the people I obviously enjoy watching Mac like grow, but to see somebody that that you've known for a while, get to like 300,000 followers.
So it's been definitely a bit of a whirlwind for me.
It's wild.
Ian, you guys know me. Like I'm a pretty shy, introverted person who likes to keep to myself. So being on a platform now where eyes are on you, you deal with the daily abuse that everyone online deals with, and all that. It's definitely it's been an eye opener for me. But it's definitely cool to build that community like I have, and just doing something I love doing. It's not like it's a forced thing. Ian saw this shit before I even kind of had the Instagram going. I did the same thing. I'd be in here after a fit, just hitting dumb
Same
shots
stuff
on the
all
simulator.
the time.
You same way, flipping clubs upside down before I even had Instagram, just messing around. So it's just how I enjoy the game, and I think it's a direct showcase of why I play golf. It's just to enjoy being out there. So.
Yeah, it's fun to. It's like super fun to follow.
It really is.
And it's fun. I will say it's something about the left-handed thing. Isn't it? You probably feel the same way. Watching people hit baseballs and golf shots left-handed to me just looks better. It just looks like it's just how you roll out of bed. It's just there's something natural around it.
I think if you look at most people, like Phil Mickelson's right-hand dominant, so having that lead side, I don't know what it is. It's like that lead side dominant.
Everything's so smooth and like I don't know. There's something about it. It's like,
I'm not somebody that look like I'm having a stroke in my golf swing.
Well, you said about your righty, like you actually feel pretty good about your righty swing.
Honestly, I am a firm believer that if I started picked up today, said forget lefty for the next year, I'm diving into righty. I could get scratch. I think. I mean, I can break 80 already. I've been doing a couple of videos like on my YouTube channel where I play alternate shot lefty righty, and I've been
wild.
Just a couple over par kind of thing, and I can play right-handed, but I think it just obviously feels more natural being lead side dominant. I don't know what it is.
Still
Your
trying to
YouTube
figure out how to
channel
play right-handed.
launched now.
We haven't released the first video yet. We're still.
But you were out in PEI last week.
Yeah, I was in
doing
PI
some-
and I was in Whistler about a month ago before that. We're just trying to load as many videos as we can because obviously with my travel schedule, it's so difficult to have. I want to do it properly, so I don't want to just release bad videos that no one's going to watch. I want to try to do cool things that other people aren't doing, hopefully.
Love it. Love it, love it.
Look at it. Look at this guy. What's the Colin Morikawa one?
Where is that there?
Let's see what he has to say.
Colin Morikawa is using a sim driver and 3-wood and a black line over the tailgate, burn his ball. Anything behind that? No, that's just where people put the line in their ball in order to line up their golf ball. Nothing behind that at all. He's never really jived with any of the new drivers. I actually really think he needs to move away from that sim driver. His driving was god awful. He could not get the start line for the.
He never gets it far enough left. I always feel like because he hits a cut, and I always feel like he's about 5 ticks too far to the right. So he hits these floaty kind of like, if this is a start line, he starts it right here, and it floats away over here.
He had the double cross going this week. Like he kept trying to hit his cut, and he would actually start. He would actually start it left, but it would draw. So he's either hitting it straight or left off of the left start line. And you can't do that around that golf course. The rough is just absolutely grim. And the thing for him is just like he needs to get the ball in the fairway so he can be the player that he is, which is a
iron play.
generational iron player.
He's a phenomenal iron player and wedge player. He's a great wedge player too. So yeah.
Mr. Scott Yeaman, the famous Scott Yeaman. Good day, gents. I've got a set of irons coming from Club Champion Toronto. Yes, you do. Should I have asked for Arcos pre-installed in the grips, or will Mikey do it as I'm his pal?
Let's take that up with Miguel.
I think, yeah, you might have to talk to your boy in that one, Yeaman.
Mikey's moving up the Club Champion corporate ladder, so he's got decision-making power.
Yeah, he does.
He kind of does what he wants.
Yeah, he does. He's a free spirit.
Free spirit.
A very free spirit young Michael.
He's knuckle deep in a barrel of wine right now.
Yeah,
isn't he?
he is. He's pickled.
Is he on a wine journey right now?
Yes.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's been on a wine journey for a few years.
That's funny.
He needs to fit Colin.
Yeah, we agree.
Adrian, I think, can get to grips with Colin and get that fixed. That's not something I'm really surprised. Like, I get if you're playing really good. He has not been playing really good for a while, our boy Morikawa. No. And these he's got to get out of that.
Yeah.
That stuff.
Well, this is the hard part about being a PGA Tour golfer. Every year, especially for TaylorMade and Callaway specifically, every year a new product comes out. If you're one of the big dogs on that stuff, the expectation is to switch into the new driver. Yeah. So that's a new center of gravity you're reacting to, a new build, a new weight, it's all new. So for the fitters, because people would say like, why can't Adrian just go get him sorted and just spend a day with him? They do that.
Yeah.
It's not that simple. As guys are working on their golf swings, their path changes. They go from hitting up on it to flattening out to this and that. It's a hard thing to manage. So essentially all these tour fitters are trying to find a really safe middle ground for a driver where the lows are not too low, the highs are not too high, but it's something they can go out and there's no surprises in the driver or the piece of equipment. So, and Colin is a very specific player with very specific delivery and very specific launch needs. Yeah. He launches it low with a ton of spin, he hits a cut. So, I think his driver's like 7.5 degrees aloft.
Yeah, he's got the 8-degree head.
Turned up, but it's a low lofted 8-degree head. So he's an interesting case study. But there's the best fitters in the world besides this guy are out basically on tour. I put you and Garrett Pond are the two that I know that aren't out there that could fit out there in 2 seconds. They're surrounded by wizards, and sometimes it's just hard to get a guy in a driver that works. It's tough.
Yeah, it definitely is. Ian Towers is having lessons to fix a swing fault. World handicap went from 0 points, which went up 3.6 this year, but want new irons. Get fit now, or wait for the swing to bed in. Ian, I would obviously talk to whoever you're working on with your lessons. How far away are you? Are you fairly close to where you need to be? Is it going to be small tweaks or big changes? So I would wait. If you've went up that much, 3.5 strokes pretty much, I would hang fire. Get the swing a little bit more dialed where you feel like you're really settled again, and then go get fit at that point. I think you want to be pretty comfortable with your action before going and getting fit. You boys, what do you boys kind of like to do? When do you like to do your testing?
I think you have to be swinging it decently to test and switch clubs. Now I don't adhere to that because I play 25 times a year, and if I get a new club, it's going in before I've even hit it. So.
Same.
But for the normal smart human, like you want to be hitting it reasonably okay, where at least if you're on TrackMan or Foresight, at least your path is consistent. The ball speed is relatively in the same spot. You're not getting these big spike or dips in ball speed when you hit it across the face. You want to be somewhere in a nice happy pocket, and then you can go get fixed. At least you're not going to get too far off the reservation that way. That's what I think.
That's good. I've asked that a few times.
Phoenix, hey Mac, how did you find trying to get fit for lefty clubs? Being a lefty, also what's the difference between 2-iron hybrid wood? Start with the top one. How do you feel getting fit for lefty clubs?
I'm lucky being in Canada. I don't find it that difficult.
It's not hard.
It's not hard at all. I feel like you can go pretty much anywhere here, and
Yeah.
you're gonna have options, which is nice. not going to speak for the rest of the world because I have friends that live in Australia,
Yeah.
New Zealand, who are like, can you bring me a lefty club over when you come from Canada? Because it's just a lot harder to get.
Yeah.
And then in terms of like the 2-iron, I'll just give my personal preference on this, whether or not it's right. It's just launch conditions more than anything. I find that like a wood, I hit a 7 wood over like a longer iron just because I find that I can control it, lands or land angle on greens.
Yeah.
Coming into par 5s
It's
or
easier to
whatever.
get that
Yeah,
low.
I just find the workability a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like I'm very one-dimensional with like a 2-iron. I love a 2-iron in like a windy place where I need to keep it on the ground, but 7 wood for me just a little easier.
You
for
really
me.
like that 7 wood, don't you? That little tailor-made?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you could give me any 7 wood as long as I looks like I can see loft.
Yeah.
I don't even really care about necessarily the brand of it. It would be the fact that I can see so much of the face. It feels like my own personal eyes looking down on it. It looks
Right.
like I have a pitching wedge with a long
Yeah.
shaft.
I feel like you can get down and
I
get
just
into
feel
the
like there's
ground.
so much I can do with it, and for me, it's just I stand over it feeling like I'm gonna hit a good shot, and with that is a huge thing for me. I'm like a big feel confidence guy, so if I'm looking down at something, I know I'm gonna hit it well. Then
Yeah.
See, for me, that's 5 wood and 8-iron.
Yeah.
Those 2 clubs, I can set them down and go, yep, I'm going to hit this out of the
yeah,
middle.
5
I'm going
wood
to hit
same
it where
thing.
I'm looking.
Normally
like,
a smaller compact head, like they're just something about them. You just feel like you're gonna hit a good shot.
Yeah.
So I prefer 7 wood, but again, there's guys who are bash down on it and might want like a 2-iron or something. So, and then I don't know what the
2-iron
last part
gives
of that
me anxiety.
I love a 2-iron.
Oh yeah, I've always loved a 2-iron.
I used to when I
Yeah.
was, 20, 22, 23. I was like the thing. But now at 46, I look at it. I'm just like, I might hit it good, but I'm probably going to hit it dead right.
I just love it for windy conditions when I
Yeah.
just need to hit like these low flighted ones. It's just so much easier.
Stingy one. Ian is saying thanks lads, brilliant lads. I'll wait until the hands stop bleeding. That's it. Grind it out.
Yeah, nice.
Grind it out. John Walker, who's the best footballer who plays golf you've played with in terms of ability?
What's his face?
Everything. Gareth Bale's
Bale's
good.
pretty good, yeah.
Bale would be the best
Some of them are terrible.
of the best.
Yeah,
right
do you know
now.
what he is? I walked at
Garrett's
Torrey with him. He
good.
played with
He can
Rom.
really
He
play.
can play. He's a legit 4 or 5 handicap.
He
like-
played a couple girls behind me in that Wentworth Pro-Am.
He's a
couple
strong
weeks ago,
lad
and
as
he was
well.
hitting
He can-
balls in the range, and he
He
hits
can
it
hit
good.
it. Yeah.
athlete of all the athletes. Steph Curry's the best that I've seen.
How's that new show? Have you seen it with him and Riggsy?
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. It's a little. I wish they would have actually, because they have the resources to go to the places where they're hitting the shots from, and they're just doing it from one golf course.
Oh, I didn't know that. I haven't
Yeah.
watched any of them yet.
But Alex does a good job. Like he's like the presenter. Like he does a
Riggsy,
good job.
he can. That guy can present. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's good.
He's good at that stuff.
I wish it traveled though. Like
That'd
I
be
wish
cool,
they were
yeah.
hitting from at
Well,
Memorial.
isn't Steph's in Dubai right now with him?
That's right, saw that. I did miss this. Shame on me for missing it.
Did you go? Have you ever been to Top Golf in Dubai?
Yeah, a few times.
It's wild.
At nighttime.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's a cool spot.
We went there with the Hogarth twins.
Oh,
really?
yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah, that whole area is pretty wild. You were there last winter, weren't you?
I was there in January.
Yeah, I was there
Yeah.
when you were there.
John Jensen, take these guys out for a couple of drinks on me. I've been using the sub 70 putter, love it and good price. You ever seen any of the sub 70 stuff?
I have. I think they make. Ryan Moore had a set of their irons out on tour, and somebody else did. Their irons look good.
Didn't Willie Wilcox? No, that was new. No, Will Wilcox.
No, Will Wilcox did too. Yeah. Or was it? Or did Ryan Moore have the new level?
New level.
New level.
Will Wilcox definitely had sub 70.
Somebody else had sub 70. Yeah. Doesn't Wesley Bryan have a set of sub 70?
Tacoma.
Oh, those are Tacomos.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
playing the cavity
Wesley is?
blade. Yeah,
When did he switch those?
just recently.
Like a
I was
month
gonna say,
ago.
because
like
I
a
was
month,
with
yeah.
him in like midsummer. He was still in the Callaway, I think.
Yeah.
I'm really pulling for Georgie Boy to
Jeez.
get.
When
he's
I played-
so good.
Dude.
When I played with him down
That's
at Purcell,
insane.
the
How
guy
well he's doing.
is ridiculously good at golf.
He
And he's
is-
just like such a good dude.
He's a sweetheart.
I have all the time in the world. Actually, I have all the time in the world for both of them. Wesley's like goes for
Different-
the jugular,
yeah,
but
yeah,
he'll
yeah.
like message you after and appreciate you. Like they're just good.
They're
people.
good people,
Yeah.
but Georgie Boy.
They're different though, aren't they? They're like his brothers. They
They
seem,
could be.
they
It's like Sevi and it's like my
Yeah,
boys.
yeah,
One's
yeah.
a sweet,
Sweet.
cherub of justice, the other one's a complete psychopath. And I'll let you figure out who they are. But like watching George Bryan hit golf balls is a treat.
Yeah.
It's nice to see him breeze through that first like what did he shoot 12 under or something?
Yeah,
Second
yeah. He
place
won it,
or
didn't
won
he?
it. Yeah,
He
won
makes
it,
golf
tied.
look so easy.
But he's
I
he's
didn't
a
realize he
tinkerer.
was
Oh,
that
yeah.
good.
Oh, he can, dude. He hits it 50 times better than his brother does. The only
Oh,
difference
yeah,
between
yeah.
him and his Wesley's got world class short game.
Yeah.
From 100 yards and in, he is just
Sick.
You ask Rom who the best short game is that he knows, he'll say Wesley Bryan for sure.
It's funny. So when I met them at Purcell, I'd never met them before. I talked to them a bit in the DMs, and like, I get up there. First thing George does, he just immediately goes into golf swing mode with me. He's just telling me he's trying to get a little bit this
Trying
from
to
the
hit this
top.
controlled cut.
Yeah, control
He's trying
cut.
to
He's
get
just
laid
really
off.
struggling. And
Yeah.
then Wesley comes up to me. He's like, "You're the guy who got famous for hitting stupid hooks on Instagram." Like, thanks,
Yeah.
Wesley.
That's them.
Cool.
That is it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
That
One of
is-
them's
that
a
is
golf
literally
nerd.
it.
The other one just goes straight for the jugular every
Yeah.
chance he gets.
And the funny thing is, in college, Wesley was the calm one with a good attitude, and Georgie was the hothead.
Really?
Yeah. George is still
George
a bit.
was a
George
psychopath
George
in
can
college.
still get angry though. Like
Yeah.
he
But it's like, oh, dang it, gosh, dang
Yeah, they're
it,
so
George,
funny.
or Wesley's like,
politically correct.
yeah.
What did they bought a golf course?
They were,
Selena. That's what they're calling
they
it.
were. It was kind of grandfathered over to them. Basically, I think it was given to them to redesign.
Right.
If they could raise the money, this is my understanding of it. Is somebody said we have this golf course, we're not going to do anything with it. You guys, if you guys can raise the money to fix it up, you can fix it up and rebrand it and remarket it, and it'll kind of make it yours. I don't think they
I think
own
that's
the land.
sick, though, isn't it?
It's something.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, it's cool though because
Yeah.
they're the land looks kind of cool. It's right
I
on
think it
that
looks
river.
amazing. I want to play
It's
it.
a nice
but
spot.
JJ Colleen's golf course, like Feathertail or whatever the hell it is in Texas, looks cool too. Do you know who he is?
Yeah, yeah. I
Florida
talk to
people?
JJ all the time.
Yeah.
So I was talking to him and John Peterson.
That's
John
they're a
Peterson
wild
said
bunch.
that. Yeah, he's like, why don't you fly down? He's like, we'll get in my plane and fly over and play Red
Do not
Feather."
get in a plane with John Peterson. I've heard that from multiple sources.
Do not
it's-
get in a
It's
plane.
not a fun trip.
Like getting in a private jet
Yeah.
with Ernie Els, and he's going
funny.
to take a running headbutt at you.
That's another crowd. That's another wild crowd.
Those
Before
two.
the People podcast, those guys are hilarious.
They're not even doing it right now. Didn't something happen?
Is that an older Snell ball in Boucher's hand? Is that the
found
secret
that-
weapon?
I've never hit one of these before.
That's,
I don't think I can
That's
look at
actually
that.
one of the old ones.
I gotta bust out of here in about 3 minutes. I gotta pick up the boy.
Go get the lads.
Yep.
Okay. We are, in fact, 51 minutes into this thing. That is a wild scene.
But this is kind of a banger
Pretty good,
live
actually.
though.
366 still in there.
Yeah,
That's pretty good. Huh?
That is a lot. 366 currently watching, 40 thumbs up. That's
Is that it? Are those good numbers?
That's not right.
One thumb down.
That's not right. 10%.
The thumb down's for me in my pants probably. If I had to take a wild guess.
It's 366.
Traffic
and-
Cabrera may have just.
Yeah, yeah.
So
it's
10% thumbs up's not good. That's not a good number.
No, no, no.
People
Needs to
aren't.
be.
People don't like it.
Needs to be double. Double. All right, guys, we're going to take one more question and then we are going to leave. You talked to this earlier. Let's leave with this one. Thoughts on the Burner Mini as a concept? Just having that type of club.
I loved it. I had it in the bag for a while. The
Yeah.
concept was, I mean, for me, I like having that something that doesn't, I can work both ways. But then I started doing some testing with it, and I find that my strong 3-wood, 2-wood that I have in the bag almost goes just as far anyways.
Totally.
And it's just a little easier to hit off the deck. So, but if you I talked to like Eddie Pepperell.
Yeah, loves it.
Eddie,
That's his driver.
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
a few guys on the
I
European
think
tour
he
that.
think he just put a ping in the bag.
Finally.
I think he did.
He played
But he
that.
said, so I played with him in a pro-am in Spain, and he's told me that the mini driver fully got him out of like the driver
Yeah,
yips
yeah,
and
yeah.
he was battling.
Yeah.
He's like, without this, he's like, I'd be sitting on my couch getting wasted off red wine.
Wow.
He's like, it was literally
It's honest.
something that kind of really changed my golf game and helped me out of the hole I was in. So I think it serves its purpose for some people.
Fleetwood made it look really good
just-
at the Ryder Cup. It was the perfect club on 17. Was it 17 or 18 that driving
17.
17.
Yeah.
He was the only guy that wasn't in between shots, in between clubs on 17.
Yeah.
He could hit full burner. He had a bunch of really good shots, and I think for the right player in the right situation, it's a great club. Callaway has a prototype one, but I have one. It's just the practicality of it for me. It's like I'd rather just hit 3-wood. I don't need the
Yeah.
265 club. I need a 250 club.
It doubled.
For sure.
You're up to 82.
It doubled. It
You're
doubled.
Oh, there it is.
Let's get it over 100 for these two lads for joining us today. Lads,
Just
appreciate
to
you jumping
100.
in.
That was
Thanks for having
fun.
me.
Mikey boy is he is on a well,
Bender.
we said he's on a bender.
bender.
And then he's taking the bender to the golf course this afternoon. He's hosting someone from I think it's from the UK or something like that.
He's like becoming the big whale. He's like the whale hunter now.
He's just
whining and
schmoozing.
dining.
Yeah,
Yeah.
schmoozing. He's trying to get himself in that RNA.
Big moccasin guy. I could see him just walking around with the moccasins.
Loving
and
it. The
Swims.
loafers.
What do you call those?
collar.
Swims?
Yeah, just
Private
popping
club
his collar.
swims. I love those things.
He loves it. Mikey boy loves
Every
it.
private club in Ontario just swims in the pro shop.
Landon, Axiom in Calgary when Axiom, we're having Axiom is Fujikura having some Axiom
an Axiom.
inventory issues. So We actually don't know, and I would say that's going to be an early 24 thing before it's in all of our stores, readily available, Landon. So yeah, look out for it then, but early 2024.
I got mine right here.
Yeah, I've got the same ones. I've got the same. You've got some Apex Pros with Axioms. I've got some P760s with Axioms.
These are my reshafted. I'm trying new shafts. These are the heads.
That's exactly why I have the 760s.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I love the heads, and yeah, they're good. They're good. Okay, guys, girls, whoever's with us, have a great week. Thank you for joining us. It was a Ryder Cup debrief.
Yep. Happy Canadian Thanksgiving week.
Yeah, that's right. This week. You're out of town? Are you in town?
I'm going to Cabot for
That's not a bad place.
Adidas event to hang out for a few days. Which is cool.
Must be rough.
And the weather's going to be good.
Too good. It's supposed to be
For the winter
it's supposed to
range
be
of
a winter
clothing.
range drop, and unfortunately,
I
it's
want to
gonna
be
a
Mac
summer drop.
Boucher.
We all
Let's
do.
go be Mac Boucher.
We all do. All right, guys, have a great week. We will be with you this week. We have a really good lineup of videos for you. Some will be with these boys, but maybe the following week, because we're not filming next week. So I think a lot of what we film this week will go in for 2 weeks' time. Busy week.
Yep.
Okay,
Big
guys, have a great week. We'll see you soon.